education in Canada when I was 18 years of age. I went to study linguistics at University of Montreal. That was the first time I ever traveled. So I go there, it's a new country, it's a new culture, it's a new place. A lot of adaptation to do, for sure. 2 months later, I realize I don't have any friends. I'm still there at university, and I don't have friends. All I did at that time was sit in the cafeteria and wait. Maybe I had this idea that maybe by just sitting there looking nice and smiling, somebody will come to me and ask me, Ghida, I'd love to be your friend. Well, that didn't work. So one day, as I was walking in the campus, I looked and there was an announcement about a position at University of Montreal for someone to be responsible for the student life of the linguistics department. I thought to myself, wow, that's it. That's what I need to do. I need to get that position in order for people to come towards me and talk to me. One thing you need to know about me, I did not have social skills when I was living in Lebanon. I grew up during the war, and the friends that I had were the friends that were de facto there fleeing the war with me. So it wasn't really hard to make friends, they were just there. In Montreal, it was a little bit different. So one thing that I needed to do for me to become the responsible of the linguistics department for the student life was run for elections. Go figure. We needed to do 2 things. The first thing was for me to post my photos all over campus and ask people to vote for Ghida, embrace change. At that time, I thought that change was about people accepting me. You know, this Indian-looking Lebanese who spoke English, Arabic, French, we don't know. Little did I know that that change had to do with me, my own person. So I was very happy going around and looking, and, you know, it's very flattering to see our photos posted all over the campus. But the second thing I needed to do was prepare a speech. I had to write a speech for the first time in my life. And then I had to actually give it in front of 150 students. And these people had to decide of my fate whether I am to be elected the responsible of student life or not. And I had to give that speech in an auditorium just like this. So, as the speech was approaching, I noticed that I was getting extremely stressed. I was very nervous, shaky, and then I was thinking to myself, Ghida, what have you done? All I was thinking about is just run away. So it's only later that I understood what was really going on. You see, we humans, when we perceive danger, what happens is our emotional brain, which is located right here, gives a signal to something we call adrenal glands. Adrenal glands, we have 2 of them, located on top of our kidneys, basically. Their job is to pump adrenaline, like a lot of adrenaline. Because adrenaline's job is to make the heart beat fast. The reason why the heart needs to beat fast is because the blood flow has to go to the hands, the legs, in order for us to be ready to flee the danger. Something we call the flight, running away from the danger, or the fight response. We also need to know that the area where logic is, which is located here, it's called the prefrontal cortex. This is where we make sense of what's going on. Does not really work at that time when we are stressed because we need to flee. And this is survival, and it's automatic. So what was going on with me? Every time I'm thinking about this speech that I needed to say, I would feel my heart beat fast, my breath, I became short of breath. I'll be standing, and then, when you are short of breath, what happens is you can hear yourself going like, and then every time I'd get weak knees, like, oh my God, what am I doing? Well, this is how we respond to fear, and that's very natural. Another thing is, when we perceive danger, basically, what happens is we get something we call tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is what makes us focus on the danger in order for us to flee it, to survive. So what's going on in my head was, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this. Along with this comes these thoughts, and I'm sure that you are very, very familiar with such thoughts when you are very stressed. I'd be thinking, I can't pull this one off. My mind is going to go blank. I'm not going to remember what I need to say. And, of course, I will remain friendless forever. And the problem with fear is when we start thinking that way, what happens is we'll be even more scared. It means we will get more heart palpitations. We will always be short of breath, and we'll always get these weak knees, and that's not going to help. And of course, fleeing was not an option at that time. So I thought to myself, Ghida, think. What did you do when you were scared, when you were younger, or when you were back in Lebanon? And then I realized I was put in very stressful situations, and I was able to actually make it. I also remember the voice of my mother telling me, Ghida, with determination and perseverance, nothing is impossible. I also thought about that cliché saying, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I said, yeah, well, really, Ghida, what's the big deal? I'm not going to die giving a speech. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? To go back to this, I wanted to tell you, or to continue the story, I want to tell you that I still wrote that speech, and I was able to deliver the speech. And I wish I knew then what I am going to show you right now. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, please. Whoever can see me right now means they don't have their eyes closed. Okay. I want you to think of a small, stressful situation, a small stress, maybe a small challenge that you fear. Take your time, think about it. While thinking about it, just notice what's happening in your body. Maybe thoughts that are rushing, maybe a faster heartbeat. Just be there and just think about that. Now stop! Open your eyes. Okay. The first thing that we need to do when we feel stressed, or when we have fear, is to actually stop ourselves. We have to take a minute. Take a minute to assess what's going on. After stop, we're going to have to breathe, because breathing is the only thing that's going to make our heart beat a little bit less fast, meaning less stressed. So I'm going to show you this. I'm not going to ask you to do it with me first. Just watch what I'm doing, and then we'll do it together, okay? I'm going to invite you in a bit to think or to imagine that you have a small balloon in your stomach and that you have a straw, a very small straw in your mouth. I'm going to invite you to inhale slowly, and I would like to hear this sound. I'm going to ask you to stop and hold your breath like I'm doing right now, and I'm going to ask you to exhale the same way like this. Are you ready? Stand up, please. Okay. So hands on the stomach. We have a nice little straw in our mouth, and we're imagining we have a pouch or a balloon in our stomach here. So I'm going to invite you to inhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Now I'm going to invite you to exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let's do it one more time. Are you ready? Yes. All right. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. You may be seated. So what we try to actually do right now is just calm our heartbeats, calm ourselves a little bit. After breathing is the time to think. Now that we are calmer, it's much easier to rationalize. Now I'm going to invite you to think about that stressor and ask yourselves, is this thinking logical? Would my friends agree with me? Did I ever do something like this before? What's the worst thing that can happen to me if I did this? Now that you did the evaluation and you thought about it, now it will be time to act. Maybe leave the irrational and make a plan for the rational. To go back to my story, I would like you to know that I did run and I did my speech. I won the seat. We were 3 people running and I took it. I was very proud of myself. And of course, that helped build my self-confidence. What I'm actually telling you is fear is a natural feeling, and it's normal to be scared and stressed, because this is survival. And it's also important to recognize the way we feel. So it's okay to know that we have fears, because if we deny our emotions, what happens is we get to be doing negative coping skills, meaning we will be more irritable, more aggressive, less assertive, and I'm sure this is not the place where you'd like to be. So acknowledging the way we feel, when stopping, when breathing, when thinking, when acting, then that will be much easier. And this is not something you should be scared of. Let's call this SBTA. Much easier to actually remember it. Together, SBTA. One more time. SBTA. Thank you. One more word. I am the alchemist for my own path, and so you can be. Thank you.